3 days after the demonstration, Earth had changed forever. The alien ships remained in orbit, but their formation had shifted from containment to observation. The Collective Council had withdrawn to deliberate while the Trisari maintained communication. With human governments, Captain Olivia Winters stood on the observation deck of the Penumbra, watching Earth below. The ship was docked with the International Space Station, which now served as the meeting point between humans and aliens. The crew had become heroes overnight, their images broadcast across the planet. Their mission had succeeded beyond anyone's expectations. Dr. Samantha Reed joined Winters at the viewport, looking tired but satisfied. The modifications to the Void engine are stable, she reported. The dimensional pocket we created was actually more controlled than I expected. It's like the ship knew what to do. Winters nodded. The neural interfaces seemed to be evolving, learning from us as we learn from the ship. She didn't mention how the connection had changed her, how she sometimes dreamed in mathematical equations now, or how she could occasionally sense the fabric of space even without the ship systems. Admiral Bishop arrived with news. The Collective Council has reached a decision, she announced. Representatives from all 7 species will meet with Earth leaders in 1 hour. They asked specifically for the Penumbra crew to attend. The meeting took place in a newly constructed chamber aboard the space station. The room was designed to accommodate the diverse physiologies of the alien species, with special environmental sections for those who couldn't survive in Earth-like conditions. The human delegation included leaders from major world governments, scientists and military commanders. Captain Winters and her crew were given positions of honor. The Penumbra's demonstration had earned them respect, not just from their fellow humans but from the aliens as well. The Trisari representative began the proceedings. Humanity has demonstrated understanding and implementation of precursor principles at a level that exceeds developmental models. The collective has been forced to reconsider fundamental assumptions. The liquid metal beings who had been most hostile shifted in what might have been discomfort. Their representative spoke next. Our concern remains. Valid developmental paths have been circumvented. Precursor intervention in species development violates natural order. A human scientist responded. The mathematical principles were discovered by humans, implemented by humans. The tools were there, but the work was ours. The debate continued, each species presenting their perspective. Some remained cautious about human advancement. Others seemed intrigued by the possibilities. Finally, the Trisari called for silence. The collective has reached consensus. Humanity will be granted a unique classification, a new category that acknowledges both your achievements and your unusual developmental path. You will be recognized as a sovereign species with rights to your home system and limited expansion rights beyond relief, spread through the human delegation. This was better than they had hoped. Admiral Bishop asked formally, what exactly does this classification entail? The Trisari explained. Humanity will be granted observer status within the collective, with potential for full membership after a probationary period. Technology exchange will be permitted under supervision. Cultural exchange begins immediately. Certain restrictions on expansion and weapons development will apply, but your independence is acknowledged. A representative of one of the more alien species added, this decision was not unanimous. Some still believe your development path is dangerous, but your demonstration with the Penumbra proved decisive. The ability to create and maintain stable dimensional pockets is a technology even some collective species have not mastered. Captain Winters stepped forward. We accept these terms on behalf of humanity and look forward to peaceful exchange of knowledge. The formal agreements were signed, preparations made for the first official delegations between Earth and the collective species. The alien blockade began to disperse, leaving only observation and diplomatic vessels in orbit. The crisis had passed. Later that evening, the crew of the Penumbra gathered one last time aboard their ship. Now that the immediate danger had passed, they faced new challenges. The Void engine. Technology would transform human civilization. The relationships with alien species would reshape Earth society. The future looked very different than anyone had imagined just weeks ago. Where do we go from here? Asked Maria, looking around at her. Crewmates Winters smiled. We're going to be very busy. The collective wants detailed information about how we implemented the precursor mathematics. They seem genuinely impressed and concerned. Added Dr. Reed, the liquid metal species those who opposed us. They still think we're dangerous. They believe the precursors chose us for some reason, that we might be destined to upset the balance of power. Maybe we are said? Tanya thoughtfully. The precursors left their knowledge for species who could use it. Why not just share it openly? Why hide it in ruins as a test? Dr. Reed had been pondering this same question. I think the test itself was the point. The precursors wanted to find species who could think beyond conventional paths. Species who could make intuitive leaps. Diane nodded. They wanted to find civilizations with potential, not just knowledge. And now we have responsibilities, said Winters. The collective expects us to join them eventually, to be part of something larger than ourselves. The conversation was interrupted by an alert. A final meeting had been called with the Trisari representative alone. The crew made their way to the conference room where the crystalline being waited. The Trisari glowed softly as they entered. There is one final matter we wish to discuss privately. The being projected a series of complex mathematical equations. These were found in the Antarctic ruins, but were not part of what you implemented in your void engine. Dr. Reed studied them with growing excitement. These are coordinates, she said. Finally. Spatial coordinates, but with dimensional variables. I never saw these in the original research. The Trisari seemed to pulse with approval. The precursors left more than technology. They left a map. For those who proved worthy to what asked Winters. The Trisari responded to them, or what remains of them. The precursors did not vanish without trace. They evolved beyond conventional existence, but they left paths for others to follow. The implications were staggering. The precursors might still exist in some form, and they had left breadcrumbs for species like humanity to find them. Is this why some in the collective feared our development? Asked Winters, beginning to understand the political dynamics. The Trisari confirmed. The precursor legacy is controversial. Some believe their technology should remain buried. Others seek it actively. Your discovery and implementation disrupted a delicate balance. The path you opened may lead to significant changes within the collective itself. Winters looked at her crew. Each face showed the same mixture of awe and determination. They had started this mission to save Earth. They had succeeded, but also discovered something much larger. What will you do with this information? Asked the Trisari. The coordinates remain unknown to the rest of the collective. Winters considered carefully. The penumbra could investigate. She said, with modifications the void engine could follow these dimensional coordinates. The Trisari pulsed with what might have been approval. We suspected you would say this. Humanity shows the curiosity the precursors valued. The coordinates are now yours to use as you will. The collective will be watching with great interest. As the Trisari departed, Winters turned to her crew. Well, it seems we have a new mission. Dr. Reed was already examining the coordinates. This will require significant modifications to the void engine. We're talking about dimensional travel far beyond the pocket we created. Winters smiled. You said the penumbra was just scratching the surface of what the void engine could do. Let's find out what else it can do. Admiral Bishop, who had observed the exchange, shook her head. You just saved Earth, and now you want to chase coordinates to find precursor aliens. Sometimes the best defense is moving forward, said Winters. If the precursors chose humanity in some way, we should find out why, and what they expect from us. In the days that followed, Earth began a new chapter. Alien delegations arrived, cultural exchange began. The revelation that humanity was not alone in the universe changed everything from politics to religion to art. Humanity faced the challenge of maintaining its identity while joining a much larger community. The penumbra underwent extensive modifications, its systems enhanced based on the new understanding of precursor mathematics. Dr. Reed worked with scientists from around the world, and even some Trisari experts to Prepare the ship for its next mission. 1 month after the demonstration, Captain Winters stood on the bridge of the upgraded Penumbra. Her original crew remained joined by specialists selected for the unprecedented journey. The ship hummed with power its systems far beyond the experimental vessel that had first slipped past the alien blockade. Admiral Bishop delivered final instructions from Earth Command. Your mission is exploration, not confrontation. Discover what you can about the precursors and their technology. But remember, you represent all of humanity now. Winters nodded, understanding the weight of responsibility. The upgraded neural interfaces connected her to the ship more completely than ever before. She could feel the enhanced void engine, the dimensional lattice, the new systems based on the combined knowledge of humans and Trisari. The crew took their positions. The UEF Penumbra moved silently through the debris field near Jupiter. The massive gas giant provided some cover as the experimental ship settled into a stable orbit around one of the smaller moons. Captain Olivia Winters ordered all non-essential systems shut down to minimize their energy signature. We need to understand what we have here, Winters said to her small crew gathered in the central chamber of the ship. This vessel might be our only hope. Tell me everything. Dr. Samantha Reed, the creator of the Void Engine, activated the holographic display in the center of the room. The Penumbra is unlike any ship ever built by humans, she began. Its hull is made of a material that can phase between normal matter and something else. Something not quite in our reality. The crew watched as the display showed the ship's unique structure layers that seemed to overlap in impossible ways. The Void Engine doesn't just bend space, Dr. Reed continued. It temporarily moves the ship slightly outside conventional reality. We exist in a bubble between dimensions. This is why the alien sensors have trouble tracking us. Weapons specialist Maria Alvarez frowned. How did we develop this technology? It seems too advanced. Dr. Reed hesitated, looking briefly at Winters before answering. The truth is, we had help. 15 years ago, we found something buried in Antarctica. Something not from Earth. The mathematics carved into its surface led to the theory behind the Void Engine. The revelation hung in the air. The crew exchanged glances, realizing they were aboard a ship built with alien concepts. Winters broke the silence. What weapons do we have? Maria brought up the weapon systems on the display. Unlike most military vessels, the Penumbra was not heavily armed in the traditional sense. We have a gravitational lance that uses the Void Engine to create localized gravity distortions, she explained, and a defensive system that can extend our phase bubble to deflect attacks, but that's it. No missiles, no railguns. Winters nodded thoughtfully. So we aren't a battleship, we're something else. Communications Officer Tanya Williams spoke next. The neural interface systems allow us to monitor alien communications better than any previous technology. Can potentially tap into their network, Navigator Diane Foster added, and the Void Engine gives us mobility beyond anything in the human fleet. We can go places no other ship can reach. Winters considered this information. The Penumbra wasn't designed for direct combat. It was a scout ship, an infiltrator, something that could slip through enemy lines, gather intelligence, and perhaps find a weakness. Over the next 3 days, the crew worked to master their unusual vessel. The neural interfaces required adaptation. The ship responded not just to commands but to intentions. It learned from them as they learned from it. The effect was unsettling but powerful. Winters spent hours in the captain's neural link, feeling the ship become almost an extension of her body. When the interfaces were fully engaged, she could sense the space around the Penumbra, as if it were her own skin. She could feel gravity wells, energy signatures, and the faint disturbance caused by distant alien vessels. Dr. Reed monitored the captain's integration with concern. The neural load is intense, she noted when Winters finally disconnected, looking exhausted. We don't know the long-term effects. I'm fine. Winters insisted we don't have time for caution. On the 4th day, Tanya detected a change in alien patterns. Several ships are moving away from Earth, she reported. They appear to be establishing a perimeter farther out, expanding their control. Winters made a decision. We need to get closer to one of their vessels. We need to understand what we're facing. Using the debris field as cover, the Penumbra slipped closer to the outer defense line. The crew watched in tense silence as they approached a medium-sized alien ship. Its design was organic with flowing lines and surfaces that rippled. Slightly as if alive, Dr. Reed monitored the void engine carefully, keeping them partially phased just enough to avoid detection, but still able to observe. The alien vessel had no visible propulsion system, yet it moved with precision. Its hull was covered in patterns that seemed to shift and change as they watched. "We're picking up energy readings," said Maria. "The alien ship is scanning this region." Everyone froze. The scan passed over them twice, then lingered. "They sensed something," said Diane, her voice barely above a whisper. "Increase phase shift," ordered. Winters' Dr. Reed complied, pushing the void engine beyond recommended limits. The ship shuddered. The crew felt the now familiar disorientation as reality blurred around them. For a moment the alien vessel seemed to fade from view. Then everything stabilized. The alien scan moved on. "They didn't see us," said Tanya, sounding relieved, but it was close. Dr. Reed checked the engines. "The void engine is running hot. We can't maintain this level of phase shift for long." Winters nodded. "We got what we came for. Fall back to safe distance." As they retreated, something unexpected happened. The alien vessel suddenly changed course, moving directly toward their position despite the phase shift. "They're following us," exclaimed Diane. "How can they track us? No time to figure it out." Winters said, "Full power to engines. Get us out of here." The Penumbra accelerated rapidly, but the alien ship matched their speed. The neural interface fed Winters a stream of information. The alien vessel was emitting some kind of field that interacted with the phase bubble, creating a trail they could follow. Winters felt rather than saw the alien weapon charging. "We can't outrun them," she realized. Options. Maria activated the gravitational lance. "It's untested," she warned. Winters made an instant decision. "Do it." Maria fired. The effect was not what anyone expected. Instead of damaging the alien vessel, the gravitational pulse disrupted its field technology. The alien ship suddenly lurched as if caught in a powerful tide. Its smooth movement became erratic. "They can't maintain stability," said Dr. Reed. "The lance affected their propulsion somehow." "Take us into the upper atmosphere of Jupiter," ordered Winters. "The gravity well might give us an advantage." The Penumbra dove toward the massive planet. The alien vessel followed, but its movements were still compromised. As they entered, the outer layers of Jupiter swirling gases surrounded the ships. The Penumbra's hull began to glow with the strain. "The void engine is giving us some protection from the pressure," Dr. Reed reported, "but we can't go much deeper." Winters felt the ship respond to her thoughts through the neural link. She could sense the exact point where the pressure would become too great. She held the Penumbra at that threshold, watching as the alien ship struggled to match their position. Then Winters saw her opportunity. "We need to reverse course. On my mark, all power to the void engine. Maximum phase shift for 3 seconds, then full thrust up and out." The crew prepared. The alien vessel was below them now, fighting against Jupiter's gravity. Now Dr. Reed pushed the engine beyond safety limits. The ship phased almost completely out of normal space. For 3 seconds, they existed in a gray void where Jupiter itself was merely a shadow. Then they rematerialized above the alien ship and accelerated hard away from the planet. The alien vessel was caught unprepared. It tumbled deeper into Jupiter's atmosphere. Unable to compensate for the sudden pressure differential, its hull began to buckle. Within moments, it was crushed by the gas giant's immense pressure. The Penumbra escaped, racing back to the relative safety of the debris field. The crew was silent, processing what had just happened. They had encountered an alien vessel and survived. Not only survived, but prevailed. "That wasn't just luck," said Maria, looking at Winters with new respect. "That was brilliant tactics." Winters shook her head. "It was the ship. It responds to intuition faster than conscious thought." It's like it knows what I need before I do. Dr. Reed looked troubled. The neural integration is happening faster than predicted. Be careful, Olivia. The ship is changing, you as much as you're controlling it. We should analyze the sensor data, said Tanya, breaking the tense moment. We recorded everything about that vessel before it was destroyed. Winters nodded. We just learned our first important lesson about the enemy. Their technology has weaknesses, and now we have a way to exploit them. As the crew set to work, a new message arrived from Earth encoded through tight beam transmission. It was brief, but chilling. Multiple alien species confirmed. Admiral Bishop reported, they're not a unified force. 7 different alien groups working together. Earth governments have received first communication. Aliens call themselves the Collective. They say they are here to evaluate us. Winters looked at her crew. The game has changed. The penumbra just became even more important. We may be humanity's only chance to influence this evaluation. The ship hummed around them as if in agreement. Their next move would take them much deeper into enemy territory. And this time, the aliens would be watching for them. 2 weeks had passed since the UEF Penumbra escaped Jupiter. Captain Olivia Winters and her crew had been carefully observing the alien fleet from a distance, gathering data and monitoring communications. Using the ship's unique abilities, they had managed to stay hidden while slowly moving closer to Earth. The Penumbra hung in space near the asteroid belt, partially phased to avoid detection. The crew gathered in the command center to review their findings. I think I made a breakthrough, said Communications Officer Tanya Williams. Her eyes were tired from days of analyzing intercepted signals. The aliens aren't one unified group. They are 7 different species working together. Some kind of alliance. She displayed the evidence on the main screen. Each alien ship type had subtle differences in communication patterns, energy signatures, and behavior. They all appeared to report to different command structures, yet worked in coordination. What are they saying? Asked Winters. Tanya shook her head. Most of it is still untranslatable, but I've isolated some repeating patterns, 7 distinct language structures, all referencing Earth in different ways. Dr. Samantha Reed, who had been unusually quiet, spoke up. Look at this energy distribution. She displayed a chart showing power readings from various alien vessels. The 7 ship types use completely different energy technologies. Some are more advanced than others. What does it mean? Asked Maria Alvarez, the weapons specialist. Dr. Reed looked troubled. It means they aren't an invasion force, not in the traditional sense. This is something else, Winters studied. The data, remembering Admiral Bishop's last message, the Collective they call themselves. They say they are here to evaluate. Evaluate for what a new transmission from Earth came through. Heavily encrypted. Winters played it for the crew. Alien representatives have made contact with Earth governments. The message was fragmented but clear. The Collective claims to oversee the development of promising species. Their purpose here is assessment. Winters and her crew exchanged looks. This changed everything. They aren't invaders, said Tanya, her eyes widening. They are investors. The crew spent the next day analyzing this new information. The picture that emerged was disturbing. The Collective appeared to be an alliance of spacefaring civilizations that developed promising worlds. Different member species had different approaches, ranging from helping native species advance to completely exploiting their resources. Earth was currently being evaluated to determine which approach would be used. We need to get closer, said Winters. We need more information about how they make these decisions. The Penumbra moved carefully toward a cluster of smaller alien vessels positioned near Mars. Using its phase technology, the ship slipped between them, almost completely invisible. Dr. Reed kept the void engine at precisely the right level to allow them to observe without being detected. But something unexpected happened. As they passed near one of the smaller ships, alarms suddenly sounded throughout the Penumbra. They're scanning us, said Maria. They see us somehow. Impossible. Dr. Reed responded, checking the engine. We're fully phased. The alien vessel nearest to them began to emit a strange pulsing field that somehow interacted with their phase bubble. The penumbra shuddered as if struck. They can detect the void. Engine, said Dr. Reed, her voice rising. It's creating some kind of resonance with their sensors. They can't see us exactly, but they know something is here. Increase phase shift, ordered Winters. We need to move. Dr. Reed shook her head. If we increase the phase, we might lose our connection to normal space. Completely, we don't know if we can get back. The alien vessel was now moving toward them, joined by two others. They were being surrounded. Winters made a split-second decision. Decrease phase shift. Bring us back to normal space. The crew stared at her in shock. That will make us completely visible, exactly, said Winters, and then open a communication channel. The penumbra phased back into normal space, appearing suddenly in the midst of the alien vessels. The effect was immediate. All nearby alien ships stopped moving as if surprised. Open channel, said Winters. This is Captain Olivia. Winters of the UEF Penumbra, representing Earth. We wish to communicate. For several tense moments nothing happened. Then a response came. Not as words, but as a stream of data flooding into their systems. Tanya worked frantically to process it. They are sending us translation protocols. She said, images, language structures, communication formats. Dr. Reed helped direct the data into isolated systems to prevent any potential hacking. Winters watched as the alien communication gradually took shape on their screens. A face appeared, although calling it a face was stretching the definition. It was crystalline with geometric patterns that shifted and reformed. As it communicated, human vessel, you possess technology that requires explanation. The translation was rough but understandable. Your phase capability is anomalous according to our assessment of your species. Winters chose her words carefully. How? Seek to understand your presence around our world and your intentions toward humanity. The crystalline being seemed to consider this. Your vessel will be brought to our command ship for examination. You will not be harmed if you comply. Winters looked at her crew. They had come seeking information. This might be their only chance to get it. We accept, she said. But we come as representatives of Earth, not as prisoners. The alien made no response to this distinction. Instead, it simply sent coordinates. The Penumbra was escorted by 3 alien vessels to a massive ship unlike any they had seen before. It was constructed of what appeared to be living crystal, with geometric patterns flowing through its structure. As they approached, an opening formed. In its side, I can maintain partial phase capability, whispered Dr. Reed. If things go wrong, we can try to escape. Winters nodded appreciatively. The Penumbra docked within the crystal ship. The crew prepared to meet the aliens face to face. They had no weapons, only data recording devices. The ship itself remained their greatest asset and potential escape. The airlock opened, revealing a corridor that seemed to form itself out of the crystalline material. As they watched, Winters led her crew forward. Each step caused the corridor to illuminate with patterns that spread outward like ripples. They were led to a large chamber where 7 different alien beings waited. Each was utterly unlike anything human. Winters had expected differences, but the reality was shocking. One was the crystalline entity they had communicated with earlier. Another appeared to be made of constantly shifting liquid metal. A third was a cluster of glowing orbs that moved in perfect coordination. 2 were solid, but with anatomies that defied human understanding. The final 2 were so strange that Winters' mind struggled to process their forms at all. The crystalline being spoke first. You are designated species 2781 in our catalog. You call yourselves humans. We are the collective. We have observed your world for some time. Winters stood tall, feeling the weight of representing her entire species. You said you are here to evaluate us. What does that mean exactly? The glowing orbs pulsed and the translation came through. We categorize developing species. We determine their potential value and developmental trajectory. Based on this assessment, we determine the appropriate intervention. And what have you determined about us? Asked Winters carefully, the liquid metal being rippled. Your species has been provisionally classified as Type 2. This indicates potential for eventual advancement but with significant probability of self-extinction through technological misuse, environmental degradation, or social collapse. Winters felt cold at the clinical assessment. What does Type 2 classification mean for Earth? The crystalline being answered. Such species are typically guided with limited technology transfer under supervision. Some population centers are preserved. Others are repurposed for resource extraction. A balanced approach. Dr. Reed stepped forward suddenly. Your assessment is incomplete, she said boldly. Your scans of our vessel indicate technology beyond your classification for our species. The aliens seemed to confer among themselves in ways the humans could not understand. Finally, the crystalline being responded. Your vessel possesses phase technology classified as Type 4. This anomaly requires explanation. Winters looked at Dr. Reed, who nodded slightly. It was time to reveal what they knew. The technology you detect came from ruins discovered on our world. Dr. Reed explained, mathematical principles that led to our void engine. Were they left by one of your species? The reaction among the aliens was immediate, the chamber filled with light and complex patterns. The beings communicated rapidly in ways the translation systems could not process. Winters sensed they had just revealed something significant. Finally, the crystalline being addressed them again. This information changes our assessment. Your species requires further study. The ruins you describe were not placed by the collective. Such technology should not exist on your world. The liquid metal entity flowed forward. Its translated voice had a different quality, almost accusatory. You claim to have discovered this technology, not stolen it. We found mathematical principles, explained Dr. Reed. We developed the technology ourselves based on those principles she displayed. The original equations on a portable screen. Another wave of communication passed among the aliens. They seemed divided, agitated. You will remain here, said the crystalline entity. We must confer on this development. The aliens departed, leaving the humans alone in the chamber. That went well, said Maria sarcastically. Winters was thoughtful. They seemed surprised by the void engine, even concerned this changes things. Dr. Reed checked her scanner. The Penumbra raced back toward Earth. Its systems pushed to their limits. Captain Olivia Winters had made contact with Admiral Eleanor Bishop using a secure quantum channel, explaining their discovery and the division within the alien collective. The situation is critical. Admiral Earth has 1 month to prove we deserve recognition as an advanced species or face either colonization or regression. Winters reported. Their decision will be based on our demonstration of the void engine technology. Admiral Bishop appeared grim on the small communication screen. This confirms our findings. The aliens have been studying us, categorizing us. They seem particularly interested in certain research facilities, especially those working on experimental physics. Dr. Samantha Reed joined the conversation. We need full access to the original Antarctic site where the equations were found. I need all the research, everything you kept from the original team. Bishop hesitated. All of that is highly classified. Even I don't have full clearance, Winters leaned forward. The entire human race is about to be classified by an alien council. Admiral classification that will determine if we survive as an independent species. I think that overrides security protocols. Bishop finally nodded. She transmitted coordinates and access codes to a hidden facility beneath the Pacific Ocean, where the Antarctic research had been relocated. The Penumbra changed course. Normally, such a journey would take days, but with the void engine at maximum capacity, they could reach the facility in hours. The crew prepared for their most dangerous maneuver, yet breaking through the alien blockade around Earth. The Trisari had provided them with transit codes claiming the humans were under their protection, but no one knew if the other alien factions would honor this. They approached Earth from the night side. The planet looked different now. Alien ships hung in orbit like artificial stars. Strange structures had been built at key locations on the surface. Scanning platforms, research outposts, evaluation centers. The collective was thoroughly documenting humanity, Multiple ships are tracking us, reported navigator Diane Foster. They're definitely aware of our approach. Send the Trisari authorization codes ordered. Winters, the codes were transmitted. Tense moments passed. 3 alien vessels moved to intercept, then suddenly backed away. The codes are working, said Tanya, sounding surprised. The Trisari must have significant authority. Or the other factions are waiting to see what we do. Added Maria, her hands ready on the weapons controls just in case they descended through the atmosphere over the Pacific Ocean. The void engine allowed them to move without the usual heat and turbulence of re-entry, appearing almost like a ghost ship sliding through the air. A prearranged signal guided them to a seemingly empty stretch of ocean. As they approached, the water parted, revealing a massive underwater facility. The Penumbra entered quickly and the ocean closed above them. A team of scientists and military personnel waited as the crew disembarked. Dr. Reed immediately took charge, requesting access to all research on the Antarctic discovery, while she worked with the Earth scientists. Winters briefed the military command on what they had learned about the collective. These ruins in Antarctica, said General Rose, looking at the classified images. They aren't human origin. No, confirmed Winters. The mathematical principles found there came from what the collective calls the precursors, a civilization that apparently predates even their alliance. The Trisari seemed almost reverent when mentioning them, and we stumbled onto their technology, added Admiral Bishop, and built the Penumbra without fully understanding what we were dealing with. Dr. Reed worked around the clock, with the Earth scientists studying the original Antarctic discoveries and comparing them to the void engine she had built. Some of the greatest minds on the planet gathered, focusing entirely on understanding the principles behind the technology. After 3 days of non-stop work, Dr. Reed called the team together. Her eyes were red from lack of sleep, but filled with excitement. The Antarctic site wasn't just random ruins, she explained. It was a test. A deliberate cache of information left for species that reached a certain developmental level. The mathematics was designed to be understandable only to civilizations that had already independently discovered certain principles. The team looked at her in confusion. It was a test repeated, Winters beginning to understand, and we passed it. Exactly, said Dr. Reed. The precursors, whoever they were, seeded various worlds with these knowledge caches. Civilizations that could understand and implement the principles proved they were ready for the next level of development. The void engine isn't just technology, it's a key. Admiral Bishop frowned. A key to what? Dr. Reed displayed a new set of equations, derived from her research. A key to understanding reality at a fundamental level. The void engine as we built it is just scratching the surface of what it can do. It's capable of creating stable dimensional pocket spaces between realities. Maria whistled. That sounds like a weapon. No, said Dr. Reed firmly. It's a tool to reshape space itself. The ultimate demonstration of a species' understanding of the universe. Winters considered this. That must be why the collective is so divided about us. If species are supposed to develop along certain predetermined paths, finding and implementing precursor technology breaks their whole system. We need to modify the Penumbra, said Dr. Reed. Based on what we've learned here, the full capabilities of the void engine haven't been realized. We're using maybe 10% of what it's designed to do. The next 2 weeks were a blur of activity. The Penumbra was partially disassembled, its systems reconfigured based on the new understanding of the precursor mathematics. Dr. Reed worked with the Earth scientists to implement changes that would allow for what she called a full-spectrum demonstration. Meanwhile, the situation around Earth grew more tense. Alien factions maneuvered for position. The Trisari maintained their protection, but other species, particularly the liquid metal beings, increased their presence. Admiral Bishop reported growing conflicts between alien groups, some supporting the Trisari position, others opposing it. Reports from around the world described strange phenomena, alien scanning technologies causing disruptions in electronics, unusual weather patterns, glimpses of alien beings observing human behavior. The evaluation of humanity continued despite the political Conflict above. Captain Winters monitored these developments with growing concern. The deadline approached rapidly. If they failed, Earth would face a divided alien council with unpredictable consequences. Finally, with only 2 days remaining before the demonstration, Dr. Reed declared the modifications complete. The penumbra looked largely the same from the outside, but its internal systems had been completely transformed. The void engine now connected to new systems throughout the ship, creating what Dr. Reed called a dimensional lattice. The crew boarded their modified vessel. Each felt the difference immediately. The neural interfaces were more responsive, the ship systems more integrated. Everything hummed with potential energy. "This is beyond anything we imagined," said Dr. Reed as they prepared to launch the penumbra. "Isn't just a ship anymore. It's a key to unlock space-time itself." They rose from the ocean facility. Earth military forces provided a formal escort, a show of dignity and determination as they ascended toward the waiting alien armada. Winters opened a channel to all Earth governments. "We go to meet the collective," she announced formally, "to demonstrate humanity's rightful place among advanced civilizations. No matter what happens, remember this moment when humanity stood together." The penumbra rose into orbit, where 7 massive alien vessels awaited, one from each species of the collective. The Trisari ship glowed with crystalline light. The others displayed their own unique characteristics, all impressive, all clearly beyond conventional human technology. The Trisari representative communicated directly. "Humans, you have returned for your demonstration. The collective awaits your evidence." Winters took a deep breath. She could feel the ship's enhanced systems through her neural link. The potential power at her fingertips was staggering. Dr. Reed had explained the theory, but experiencing it was something else entirely. She addressed the assembled alien council. "This is the UEF Penumbra. We represent humanity. We will now demonstrate our understanding and implementation of precursor principles." Dr. Reed activated the modified void engine. The effect was immediate and dramatic. The space around the penumbra began to shimmer, not with the partial phasing they had used before, but with something much more fundamental. A sphere of altered reality expanded from the ship, rippling outward like waves in a pond. Even the alien vessels seemed to react with surprise as their sensors registered the effect. The penumbra was creating a bubble of space-time that operated under slightly different rules, a demonstration of control over the fabric of reality itself. The Trisari ship moved closer, clearly intrigued. Their sensors probed the effect, trying to understand what the humans had achieved. Winters felt the ship respond to her thoughts through the enhanced neural interface. She directed the effect, creating patterns in space-time itself, complex mathematical forms that expressed the underlying principles of the precursor technology. "This is only the beginning," announced Winters to the collective. "This demonstrates our ability to understand and implement precursor principles. If you classify humanity properly as equals, we will share what we have learned." The alien vessels conferred among themselves. Energy patterns flashed between them in what appeared to. The big ships appeared near Neptune without any warning. 7 huge vessels that seemed to swallow light instead of reflecting it. They were like empty spaces against the background of stars. The space defense system only found them when they wanted to be found. Captain Olivia Winters was drinking her morning coffee on the UEF Stormbreaker when the alarm sounded. She had fought in the Mars War, but had never seen anything like this. The alien ships had gone past all outer defenses, appearing at key points all around our solar system. Lieutenant Kate Morgan looked at the glowing map display. Her fingers traced the positions of the unknown vessels. "They are making a circle around us. Classic trap formation," she said. In half a day, the alien fleet grew to more than 300 ships. They ranged from small fast ships to massive city-like motherships. Their technology was clearly hundreds of years more advanced than the best human systems. All of Earth military forces got ready for battle, but things looked bad. The aliens did not try to talk. Instead, they carefully disabled Earth defense stations one by one. They were very precise, causing few human deaths. This suggested not kindness, but perhaps they saw humans as valuable things to collect. In the secret meeting rooms of the Earth government, Admiral Eleanor Bishop suggested a desperate plan. While the aliens focused on Earth, a single experimental warship might slip through their blockade. This ship had new technology that was thought too dangerous to use before its name was the UEF Penumbra, and Olivia Winters would be its captain. No one told Winters exactly why she had been chosen. She stood in the underground hangar staring at the strange ship. It did not look like other military vessels with its smooth curved hull and midnight blue surface that seemed to drink in light from the room. "You have 12 hours to prepare," said Admiral Bishop. Her face was tight with worry. "The fate of our species may depend on your mission." Captain Winters gathered what information she could. The Penumbra was built using theories and technology that most scientists considered impossible. Its main system, called the Void Engine, could supposedly bend the fabric of space itself. The ship had never been fully tested. The crew assignments came through. The team was small, just 4 specialists, besides Winters herself. Dr. Samantha Reed, the scientist who helped create the ship. Maria Alvarez, weapons expert. Diane Foster, navigation expert, and Tanya Williams, communications specialist. 5 women against an alien armada. Winters met her crew in the final hours before launch. They were the best Earth had to offer, but fear showed in their eyes. Everyone had seen the alien ships hovering over major cities. Everyone knew what would happen if humans tried to fight with conventional weapons. Dr. Reed was the last to board, carrying a small metal case handcuffed to her wrist. "The final piece of the Void Engine," she explained. "We kept it separate for safety. The ship won't work without it." The launch window was set for 0300 hours, when a gap might open in the alien defense net. A small distraction was planned on the far side of the moon to draw alien attention. The Penumbra would power up with minimal systems and slip away using the moon's shadow as cover. At Euro 250, Winters took her place in the command seat, which wrapped around her body like a second skin. There were no traditional controls, just neural interface panels that glowed soft blue when she touched them. "The ship feels alive," thought Winters as the systems connected to her. It was like nothing she had experienced before. "Launch in 5 minutes," came the voice of Mission Control. The overhead screen showed the alien positions, a tight net around Earth with a slight thinning near lunar sector. 7, are we ready?" Winters asked, looking at her small crew. Dr. Reed nodded as she connected her metal case to a port in the ship wall. The engine core hummed to life, causing the deck to vibrate in a rhythm almost like breathing. "We may never come back," Winters said honestly. "You all know the mission. Find the aliens' weakness, learn their intentions, if possible, find a way to save Earth." 4 determined faces looked back at her. They had all left messages for loved ones. None expected to return. 1 minute to launch said, "Mission Control. The distraction fleet is engaging." On the screens, Winters could see a handful of Earthships emerging from hiding firing weapons at distant alien vessels. The response was immediate. Alien ships converged on the attack, leaving a small opening, now called Mission Control. The Penumbra slipped from its dock, rising on silent engines. As they approached the surface, Winters felt her heart pound. This was the first real test. Would the ship's stealth systems work against alien sensors? They broke through to open space. The moon loomed ahead, massive and pale. The Penumbra accelerated, moving faster than should be possible with conventional engines. Its hull began to shimmer slightly as the Void Engine engaged. On the sensor display, alien ships were turning. Some seemed to hesitate, as if confused by conflicting readings. "They're picking up something," Dr. Reed said, her voice tight. "But they can't get a lock." 2 alien interceptors changed course, moving to investigate. The Penumbra was still 10 seconds from the moon shadow that might hide them. "Now," said Winters. Dr. Reed activated the Void Engine at partial power. For 3 heartbeats, nothing seemed to happen. Then reality shifted. The stars outside smeared like wet paint. The ship shuddered. The crew felt a strange pressure, as if gravity itself was uncertain. Winters tasted metal in her mouth and saw her hands become briefly transparent. Then everything snapped back. The alien interceptors were gone. The penumbra was now beyond the moon, accelerating toward the outer system. It worked. Breathed. Dr. Reed, looking shocked at her own success. We phase shifted. Just for a moment, the screens showed no pursuit. Their impossible jump had confused the aliens long enough for the penumbra to gain distance. Winters felt a moment of hope. It was thin, but real. The penumbra had capabilities beyond anything humanity had built before. Maybe, just maybe, they had a chance. Set course for Jupiter, she ordered. We need distance to plan our next move. As the strange ship accelerated away from Earth, Winters took one last look at the homeworld now surrounded by alien vessels. Earth was a blue jewel in the blackness, covered by the shadows of ships from beyond the stars. The mission had begun. 5 humans on an impossible ship against an alien armada. They were outmatched, outnumbered, and running on untested technology, but they had surprise, they had courage, and they had the penumbra. The real question was, would it be enough?